And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. Maui Jim Sunglasses, the choice of the best captains. Shimano Rods and Reels, fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray and rock god Rick Mexa.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 of Let's Talk Hookup coming your way here this morning. As you heard at the beginning of the show, Pete Gray not joining us. He's out at Katmai experiencing some amazing fishing. We heard a report from Jeff yesterday about how killer the fishing is up at Katmai there. Really good sockeye salmon fishing, that amazing trout fishing. So hopefully we'll hear from him later in the show. But if not, we'll definitely look forward to getting the full wrap-up next week. Some very, very good fishing going on for the boys up at Katmai. And speaking of good fishing, man, we're talking about it all morning with Captain Drew from the Pacific Queen. Really, really good stuff going on right now and some really good info. And if you want to be a part of the show this morning, we'd love to hear from you. 2 ways you can reach us here on Let's Talk Hookup this morning. And first is with our local line, which is 858 area code 457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. 1090, or you can reach us on our toll-free number. That one's 877-792-1090. One more time, 877-792-1090. Again, not only are we talking all this great fishing, talking fishing on the Queen, we're also giving away an awesome prize at the end of the show today, and that's a day-and-a-half trip to go fishing, get in on this great summertime action. You're getting a day-and-a-half trip going fishing aboard the Pacific Queen at a Fisherman's Landing, and we're just so stoked, and that was really cool, Drew. I know somebody's going to be really pumped to get to come fishing with you. And speaking of this great fishing, we're going live right now to the New Loan. Captain Marcus Medak is on the line. Good morning, Marcus.
Hey, good morning, Rick. What's happening, Drew?
Morning, Marcus. They biting?
Should have been here. Should have been here. I had to get out of my bunk with no boots on. Night bite here. It was pretty hectic. Really, they were snapping. It was like being down a hurricane bank, fighting frickin' yo-yo jigs on heavy gear. They're in the dark, nice sized fish. We got before daylight at all, we had half a dozen fish from. I think we might have one under 100 pounds, 90 pounds, 95 pounds. The rest of them are all like 110 to 130 pounds, I'd call them. So that was a fine start to the morning, pretty fishing. Obviously, we didn't quite get all of them. Had a little bit of. Some people had some improper tackle. The line size was heavy enough, but you really have to have a 2-speed right now. It's crazy not to fish one. That's got to be one that's got some torque. So anyway, it's pretty freaking spectacular here. We just slid on another spot after we were stuck there pulling on the last one for a long time. We got going, and there's a great big spread out area jumping fish. A little bit smaller grade. They're like 60-pounders for the most part, 60, 70-pounders. We landed, I forget, 3 here, I think, and we got 1 hooked up. We got good fish on the machine, swimming under us, boiling all around. It's freaking awesome. You'd be crazy not to go fishing right now. You'd have to have your head examined to go fishing.
Couldn't agree more, Marcus. Well, that's fantastic. What a start to the day. And I know that you said that you've been, you guys just put the blinders on, are going to target this nice big fish, and it sounds like it's already paying off, and certainly some really good fishing going on. And I couldn't agree more. You'd have to be crazy not to go get in on it.
It's insane, man. It's freaking. Normally, to have a bite like that, you have to go on a 16 or 17-day trip to have an honest chance at it. You really do, and it's happening right here in our backyard. And I'm not one for hyperbole, but it's amazing. It really is.
Well, hearing guys like you and hearing guys like Drew talk about that, and you can hear the excitement in your voice. I mean, you guys have seen a lot of good fishing, and everybody says the same thing. It just isn't this way. This isn't how it's supposed to be, and it sure is a lot of fun that we're getting to experience it so close to home.
Oh, it's freaking crazy. It's insane.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you guys are...
it's pretty cool. It's switching over to bait, now. They're up boiling around our sardines, and we're hooking them on sardines. The first round was all in the dark. It was all on jigs. But the last round here was on live bait. I just talked to Mike there on the Tribute. He's having a very good morning as well. I don't know if he's had a chance to call in or not. And I don't know if there's anyone else here. It's pretty darn spectacular fishing.
That's awesome, Marcus. Well,
We are
sounds like
coming out again tomorrow night. If somebody wants to give it a try, I'd go. It's a good time to go. For sure. Can either come out with me, or I guess you could go out with Drew.
Well, certainly some really good choices going on right now, Marcus. And if someone does want to come fishing with you and get in on this big fish action that's going on right now, how do we
If you want to come out with me, call Point Loma Sport Fishing at 619-223-1627. And if you want to go out with Drew, get a hold of the Pacific Queen there at Fisherman's Landing. It's another excellent choice. He's a good friend of mine, so I'm ribbing him good-naturedly here. So either one, I think you guys will have an awesome time.
There's no doubt about that, Marcus. Congratulations on what is shaping up to be a great trip already. And, boy, I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to be excited to watch the reports tonight and see how she wraps up for you. Congratulations. And I just think it's the best call. I know you talked about it yesterday when you called the show, saying you're just gonna keep targeting that big fish while it gives you the opportunity. And it's always nice to know that there's some successes that go along with the hard work there. So congrats, and we'll look forward to hearing how you wrap up.
All right, sounds good. We'll give you a call. We're hoping to get some action on this mid-sized fish here this morning. These 60, 70 pounders. And we're hoping, we got our fingers crossed that we get a trophy or two in the afternoon.
All right, Marcus. We'll wish you continued success. We appreciate the check from the grounds. Phones are packed up. We're going to jump right back into them. How about this time we talk to Bob, who's calling us from Santee this morning. Hi, Bob. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, Rick. Good morning, Drew.
Morning.
Bob?
Question. You mentioned earlier about fishing the kite and the balloons trolling, but is anything else being caught on, like, traditional trolling, like the feathers, like X-wraps or cedar plugs or anything like that, or is it just like you said, the kite and the balloon?
The big bluefin, we're not catching anything on the troll. We're not catching those on the troll. We did catch a few earlier in the year on the troll, but that bigger fish, no, it's not troll fish. But there's some yellowfin around, so we are trolling. Sometimes, like if it's pretty incredible how much bluefin's around. So there's times where it's like literally you're going from spot to spot within you wind your lines in and you already see a spot and you're going to be on it within 5 to 10 minutes. So there's times where that's just the main focus, so we might not be trolling, but for the most part, what we're catching on the troll is, yellowfin. You troll by a kelp, you might catch a yellowtail. Not obviously not every kelp has fish on it, so sometimes when you're in an area with a lot of kelps, you're just trolling by them, checking them out with the machines or visually. But that big bluefin, no, we haven't caught any of that on troll, and I mean, really, they're too smart. I don't know if it's too smart or what it is, but you're not going to catch them that way.
Getting one on the traditional cedar plug behind the boat is not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
sure.
it could happen, and
sure
it probably does happen, and it probably has happened, but
the percentages aren't.
Yeah, if you're driving around hoping to get one on the troll, you're probably going to go home empty-handed more times than not.
It seems like in general lately, because the advancements in electronics and even more so the advancement in how good you guys have all become at using fishing sonar, that the trolling jigs just don't stop the boat the same way they used to. Like, it seems like you guys are seeing that fish and setting the boat up so that, you've got 20 guys that are in the right position to get it rather than getting a jig strike. I mean,
yeah, they're not. However, we're always trolling.
Sure.
Because you're always going to miss stuff. And so when you miss stuff, and hopefully, I can remember a couple years ago where we were fishing when we had a good bluefin year where it was like probably that 40 to 60 pound fish, which was excellent grade of fish and insane fishing at the time. And it was one of the things, you had to get on a school in the dark or you weren't going to catch a fish. And it was, if you got on a school in the dark, you were going to drift all day. You'd shut the motors down and you were just going to drift all day and catch fish all day.
Yeah.
And if you got going again, if you didn't wait it out, weren't patient, you weren't going to get another bite. So, I remember that year getting one of those stops on a blind jig strike in the dark. We just had the trollers out right before the sun came up, and we got a bite, and we started catching fish, and the school just grew and grew and grew, and we drifted all day. So, trolling is important,
always.
in my mind. We're trolling all the time, but, like I said, for this big bluefin, for the most part, it's not going to be a factor. And sometimes when we're just running from spot to spot, we're not trolling just because of, just the amount of effort that it takes to get the trollers in and out in that time frame. Guys want to have an opportunity throwing a jig up on the bow, so they don't want to be messing with the trolling gear. And so you have a pretty good idea, that it's not going to make a difference, so maybe we won't troll in that situation. But for the most part, we're trolling.
There you go. Bob, appreciate the phone call very much. All right, let's head up all the way up to Katmai and find out what's going on in Alaska. Good morning, Pete.
Hey, good morning, Rick. Morning, Drew. How's the show going?
Show's going
good.
Great. Phone line sounds awesome for being way up there.
Yeah, well, it is a satellite phone, but they've come to the kind of the modern ages here. They even have like a wireless internet connection now too. So if you really want to stay connected, which when you're this far up north, you're not really sure because there's a lot of fishing to do and not sit on your computer. But I'll tell you what, we arrived by charter yesterday. Landed on the gravel runway right here at Katmai Lodge. Super remote. We're about 30 miles west of King Salmon, Alaska, out in the Katmai National Wilderness. And, it's been quite a few years since I've been to Katmai, and new owner Robert and Bob, his general manager, and Jeff, the head guide, these guys have taken this place to the next level. It is, I love this place. This place is one of the most magical places to go fishing on Earth, and now it's even nicer. And the good news is the fish are fully cooperating, too, with our group. We have a lot of couples on this group, and I'll give you an example. Mark and Jennifer Rubin yesterday, we arrived on the flight, had a little breakfast, got out on the water by about 10:30, and we ran on they have jet boats, Yamaha outboard powered jet boats or prop boats. Yesterday the water level is pretty high, so they ran the props. We ran maybe 10 minutes, and they got to a little bank, and they caught their limit of sockeye salmon in a matter of minutes, which is 5 per person. Then they went king salmon fishing, caught their limit of king salmon very quickly, and then they started having fun on the chum salmon and started catching a bunch of chum salmon, and then they caught rainbow trout too, all in one afternoon, just a few minutes from the lodge. And it just and we heard similar stories from the rest of the group. Lolly and I elected to go upriver and concentrate on trout, save our salmon for later in the week, and my wife kicked my butt yesterday. We were using the mouse pattern, which is kind of like surface on the fly surface iron for yellowtail kind of thing, but it's literally it's like a little 1.5-inch, 2-inch mouse. It looks just like a mouse, and you skid this thing across the surface, and these giant trout come up and just roll on it and open their mouth and eat it. And she got a beautiful 24-inch rainbow yesterday. Jeez. And another one that was probably 18 inches. I had a couple of monsters come up and grab it, but I was just too slow on the draw. I had several takes, but never got the hook in a fish yesterday. So today it's revenge day for me today, because I saw this one fish yesterday. That fish had to be 30-plus inches. It was unbelievable how big this fish is. And then another one I had that was close to that side, I watched him follow that mouse for about 3 feet and then open his mouth and just inhale it. And it's like, how I didn't get the hook in that thing, I have no idea. But it's just exciting just even seeing it. But this is an absolutely magical place, Katmai Lodge. If you love Alaska and you want to see the ultimate in Alaska, this is the place. And I can't wait to share more stories with you, because it's an hour earlier here up in Alaska, so we're just getting ready to get our waders on, get back up on the boat. Today we're electing to go upriver up to an area called the Braids, which is the prime rainbow trout fishery area here for the trophy rainbow trouts. I know Rich and Peggy Top and Denise and a couple others are taking the Katmai Lodge float plane today, and they're flying out to one of the remote rivers several miles away from here. Tomorrow, a big part of the group is taking the float plane over to Brooks Falls, which is one of the most incredible sights on Earth. It's one of those places where You see in National Geographic where the bears are standing there eating fish at the falls as the sockeye jump and they grab them midair. That's
right.
Brooks Falls, and it's about a 30-minute float plane trip right here from Katmai. So
cool,
that's kind of the idea of you can kind of fish all you want. You can just do the scenery thing, but I'm going to focus on that trout here. So I'm going to go catch that 30-incher with it. I hope so.
The fact that you're fishing.
But if you want.
I was just going to say, the fact that you're fishing a trout in a river on a mouse that's the size of a legal sea bass still blows me away. That is so cool, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, they are native, hard-fighting rainbow trout. They're pretty unbelievable. So, and all this stuff, you can either use fly fishing or conventional. They have all the gear. You don't have to bring anything here other than your rain jacket and your layers. And they have the waders, they have the boots, they have G-Limit fry rods, all the equipment that you need. You don't need to be geared up. They have conventional gear if you'd rather do spin fishing or bait casting. They have all that. They have big kings in the river right now. One of the other people here caught a 35-pound king yesterday. Our guide was telling us that he just had a gentleman from England that just wanted to catch a king on the fly, and he caught one that was close to 40 pounds on the fly. Jeez. So, I mean, it's all here, Katmai Lodge, and this is prime time. So we're doing the trip again next year. I believe the date is July 12th. It's up on our website, hookup1090.com. It filled very, very quickly this year. So if you want to go with us next year, I would highly recommend booking it. And we'll talk more when I get back about side trips you can do out of Anchorage, because unlike other places that we do go, there's a lot of different things that you can do out of Anchorage. One example was what I was talking about yesterday, the railroad, and then they were talking. Bob, the general manager here, was telling me about you spend a day going down to the Portage Glacier, which is only a couple hours outside of Anchorage, and you rent a car and go down there. So lots of stuff to do in addition to the fishing. But I'm going to go catch that big trout. And you guys, thanks for covering Ricky, and I'll be back next week, hopefully tell you some tall tales of Alaska from Katmai Lodge.
All right, buddy. Well, we're certainly going to wish you good luck, and I hope you go get that 30-incher. Sounds like you got a rad couple of days in front of you, Pete. Well, we wish you good luck and can't wait to hear all about the stories next weekend when you get home.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Thanks for covering. Thanks, Drew, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for that. All right. Well, the phones are seriously packed solid. We're jumping right back in. This time going to talk to Bruce. He's calling from Mission Bay this morning. Hi, Bruce. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, Captain Drew. How you doing? Hey, to get back to the caller, a couple calls back, I know if he's out on his own boat, he can try slow trolling the Mackies, maybe about half speed, and that's been producing a little bit. The main reason I called was the navigational buoy at Mission Bay. When is green light going to be fixed?
That's a good question.
A hazard.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I would call Harbor Patrol.
Yeah, I definitely do not have an answer for you, Bruce, and I wish I know, because it would be nice to have that thing back. I keep my boat over at Dana Landing there at Steve Pinard's, and it would be nice for sure. I'm with you, but definitely don't have an answer.
You're trusting your stuff coming in, but you'd still like to see that thing going.
Sure, yeah, it's a tough one for sure. It went down in that big surf, and I would say if you talk to Coast Guard or Harbor Police or somebody, maybe they get you a timeline or idea, and we'll certainly do a little bit of research too, Bruce. And if I find anything out, we'll try and mention it on the show or put it up on our Facebook page. But yeah, I don't have an answer for you. I don't know how quickly clearly they don't react too quickly because it's been down for quite some time. Be nice to have that jetty marked a little better, huh?
Yeah, for sure. It's you see all the lights behind it, and it gets confusing even for us. So I imagine somebody else, it could be a nightmare.
There you go. Well, I appreciate the phone call very much, Bruce. Hopefully we can get some resolve for you.
Later.
All right. Thanks a lot for the phone call. How about Greg in Ventura calling us next on Let's Talk Hookup? Hi, Greg.
Good morning, guys. Morning, Captain Drew and Rick. Fished a couple times this year, once on the Queen and once on the New Loan a couple of days ago. Had great experiences, loved the boat. Captain Gavin there really works hard at getting you on the fish, and we had a pretty good slam on the yellowfin a little bit later that one day. And, I'm kind of just calling in as the average fisherman here. It's just spectacular, this bluefin thing. I mean, when you see one of those big things hit the deck, you just can't believe your eyes. And as an average fisherman, I'd just like to point out, too, that, I actually bought one of those poppers, and I have yet to tie it on. It seems like, especially the last trip on Thursday on the new land, I don't think we had one fish on the popper. I think it was all either bait fish or jig fish. And they were hitting the mackerel and the sardine, and, man, it was just something else. This is actually the first morning I woke up, and I'm not sore. And
it's pretty wild.
Kind of a comment to make a better experience for the average angler. I'm not a smoker, and there seems like every trip there's at least one guy that's on the chain smoking program, and it's really hard to get away from them. They're at the bait tank, they're on the rail, they're at the rods doing their thing, they're sitting outside the bunk room, and you basically are inhaling smoke all day long. And I was just wondering if there's any chance, that some of the boats can actually just mention maybe there's a smoking section on the boat where you can, know that it's there and just kind of keep away from it, or else you just can't get away from it.
Yeah, I mean, we could, that's a good idea. There's obviously ways you can get around that, and, we can, the main thing is if you have a problem and somebody's, bugging you and they're smoking and right next to you and you're inhaling a bunch of smoke, I mean, I would either just sit, maybe politely ask them, hey, I don't want to smoke too. Maybe you could not do this right near me, or do it on the stern, downwind of everybody. And if it's a problem after that, just ask one of the crew members, and we would definitely not have a problem, if it's bugging some people. Obviously there's a lot of people that come fishing with us, a lot of people on the boat from all different walks of life.
Got it, man. Exactly.
And, it's just about everybody respecting each other and, respecting each other's space. And sometimes that's hard when you're on a small boat, but, and it's not a small boat, but
it's well said.
I think just, we want everybody to work together and just, talk it out, and I think we could all get along and fish together.
And if it really drives you crazy, get 20 of your buddies together and call Drew and just charter the boat yourself. You won't need to worry a thing about it.
Exactly. But, I mean, I obviously understand where he's coming from.
Sure.
But
we appreciate
you just got to, I think each situation's different.
I think you answered that perfectly. Appreciate the phone call very much. And speaking of finding out what's going on the water, it's time for your FishDope.com report. Your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, is on the line. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Good morning. Hey, Drew, Marcus, I just want to tell you guys do an awesome job. I got the advantage to being on a yacht every day and chasing these giant bluefin. I'll tell you, to consistently catch these things day in and day out on a sport boat, my hat is off to you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
It's got to be so gnarly. These things are so skittish, and you guys keep putting these days together on these trophy fish. So I just wanted to say that while you're there in the building there. I ran sport boats for a long time. I know how hard it is, and my hat is off to you. That is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Hey, guys, we are out here today. We're just on the outside edge of the 181. We're kind of headed out into the zone here. It's good to hear that the fish are kind of biting this morning. I'm kind of excited about that. I'm back up to 25 knots here running out to the zone. But, guys, like Brian Woolley was saying earlier today, the switch has been turned on. I'm in 71.5-degree water right here right now. The water's flat calm. It's an absolutely gorgeous day out here on the water. Like Drew was saying before and Marcus was saying, you're not going fishing. What are you waiting for, guys? There's nothing to wait for. Everything is happening, and it's just going to keep getting better.
Go right now.
You there?
Yeah, we're agreeing with you, man. You got to go right this second.
Yeah, it's happening. It doesn't get any better than
that. That's for sure.
So I'm breaking up a little bit, guys, but that's what I got. Bass fishing's phenomenal. There's some yellows to catch at both islands. There's Dorado right now off of Newport. So whatever you're waiting for, guys, stop waiting, go fishing.
I couldn't agree with you more. Well said, Dave. And, that's the beauty of this time of year is fish are spread out, and a great way to stay on top if you don't have a network of fishing buddies like, You can't call Drew and Marcus every day. The one thing you can do is be a member of fishdope.com, because there's a large source of information that with a very inexpensive subscription, you can keep tabs on where that fish is at, what it's biting, where to go, what to do. And, you know, if you don't have the luxury of being out every day on the water, you have the luxury of finding out what happened every day, and that's with a fishdope.com subscription. And you can save $20 this week if you punch in the code Hookup now. It's all lowercase, no space. You're going to save $20 on a new membership to fishdope.com. And if you want to have Dave come fishing with you, how do we do that, Dave?
Well, you might get a day in November right now. I'm pretty much booked solid, but give it a shot. Give me a call, 949-374-0786. I'll come with you on your boat, show you how it's done and how to use all those fancy electronics. And or you can charter the boat that I run, the Hatteras down at Dana Point, same number, 949-374-0786, and we will talk to you guys next Sunday. We're on our way to go catch some giant bluefin.
All right, Dave. Great job. Appreciate it. Great report. We'll look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks a lot for the phone call. Hey, phones have been absolutely packed solid. One line open if you want to get through. It's 877-792-1090. Again, 877-792-1090. The only line open right now. When we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. Lots of great fishing information coming your way. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
Inland Boat Center is the destination for your next boat. They've been around 35 years, so they're here to stay with something for everyone. Inland Boat Center has a giant inventory of all types of boats, including the perfect saltwater fishing boats made by Arima and Defiance. Inland Boat Center has a huge 2.5-acre indoor showroom with over 300 new and pre-owned boats, making them the largest boat store on the West Coast. Family owned and operated, they are proud of their customer service. They take trades of all types. Come check out their inventory of Defiance boats from 20 to 29 feet, or the fantastic selection of the amazing Arima boats from 17 to 21 feet. Inland Boat Center has a full service department, fiberglass repair and upholstery department. Everything you need is under one roof at Inland Boat Center, 681 East San Jacinto in Paris. Check the website for the current inventory and more at inlandboatcenter.com. Whether you're trolling in the trough, sight fishing from the tower, or landing a prize game fish, true offshore anglers demand the best in stabilization technology. When bad weather and rough seas send other boats back to the docks, Seakeeper allows you to fish longer and fish harder, even in the roughest conditions. Don't believe us? Just listen to a fellow angler.
I just wanted to let you know how happy we are with the Seakeeper. People are blown away with what it does. It's really awesome for daytime sword fishing, and it makes seeing the bite so easy in all conditions.
Now available for boats as small as 30 feet. Seakeeper eliminates up to 95% of boat roll. To learn more about how Seakeeper can change your life on the water and to schedule your free demo, go to Seakeeper.com. Take a ride. Be amazed. Seakeeper.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. A spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
It's time to get excited about fishing, and Point Loma Sport Fishing has everything you'll need. They offer half-day and three-quarter-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit their website at pointlomasportfishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627.
This is Greg Stotesbury from AFCO. For more than 55 years, the American Fishing Tackle Company has been recognized as the premier manufacturer of precision-built offshore fishing tackle. AFCO continues this tradition today with an innovative technical fishing clothing line designed and built for ultimate performance on the water. From our next-generation fishing shorts like the Tactical Camo or Stealth Shorts to our Aft Block sun protection shirts like the Fish Ninja and Samurai Sun Hoodie, the entire AFCO clothing lineup is purpose-built with the latest AFTEC fabrics and designed with functional features to deliver top performance for the demanding angler. Visit www.afco.com to find a dealer near you.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. This whole big bluefin thing has just got me just today. I'm just jonesed that, like, I know we were joking about it with, you saying it, Mark saying it, Dave saying it. You gotta go. It's the truth, man. You gotta make this happen.
Yeah, not to mention that, things are changing.
Yeah.
So it's now much easier for just anybody to come out and catch one. We're catching them, on flat falls, a much easier way to fish.
Totally.
Heavy jigs in the dark, much easier way to fish. A sardine rig, much easier way to fish. So, it's getting more user friendly. Obviously, the fish are there; they've been there, and what's going to happen is within the next couple days, maybe week, maybe a little bit longer, it's going to blow up, and somebody's going to go out there and get them.
Get a hit.
And they're going to come home with probably an insane catch, maybe a historical catch, and then it's going to be on. But whoever's on that first trip, it's like if you have the time and the means to do it right now, now's for sure, in my opinion, it's time to go.
I agree, man. It's so cool. What is the schedule of the Queen right now? I mean, I know you guys are obviously fishing. The boat does an awesome job, and you guys run a very regular schedule. But what is that schedule? What's the Queen doing right now?
Well, right now, I'm just looking at the schedule right now. We got day and a halves all week.
Okay.
So we have one leaving tonight. It's actually got a real light load. It's only got 8 people. We're a go. And then as we kind of get towards the end of the month, our trips get a little longer. We get more into 2s and 2.5s, and there's a couple 3s spread out. But for the next, looks like 2 weeks, it's mostly day and a halves and overnights. Every one of these trips would be able to target that big bluefin. While we were sitting here, Gavin texted me freaking out because they're catching some today. So he's like, that's where we're going tonight. Cool. He's super excited. So
there's only 8 people right now. Trip's already a go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You look at my schedule. I mean, every trip's a go. And it's either sold out or got a lot of room. So, it's the time of the year where we just commit to go fishing. We're not going to sit at the dock. It's not like there's nothing to catch. There's incredible opportunity right now, opportunity we've never seen. So we just go. If 8 people show up, then we're going with 8 people. If there's 34 people, we're going 34 people. It doesn't matter. Awesome. We're just going to go, and we're not going to catch them sitting, at the dock. We're not going to catch them sitting looking at the reports from our couch. So, our thing is we just go fishing.
That's awesome. That's the right mentality to have in the guy driving the boat, man. That's cool. Well, the phones are packed. I know everybody's excited to talk to you, and we want to keep going through these phone calls. So how about we talk to Richard, and he's calling us from Monrovia this morning. Richard, good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Richard.
Before I get to my question, hats off to Rick Jensen. You guys told me to give him a call last week regarding Baja.
Right.
He's got 3 or 4 contacts down there. My kayak is kind of cool. Appreciate that.
That's awesome, Richard. I'm glad it worked out. Yeah, Rick Jensen from Sport Fishing Finance does an awesome job and a great friend of the show, and certainly very knowledgeable when it comes to everything as far as that Baja zone goes. So I'm glad it worked out.
And my question for you is, one is, have you heard anything about the yellowtail up in the Redondo Beach area? And number 2, is there an application for a kite or a balloon on my kayak?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess it depends how you're fishing your kayak. If you're just paddling it out of the harbor, and fish have been so close that I haven't been on a kayak outside the harbor, so I don't know how far you can go. I don't know if you're launching it off a boat, but there is for sure an application for that, and I think it would probably be an epic way to catch or to fish one of those. Number one, just because you'd be so stealth, so you'd be able to get right in the middle of them, and then once you hook one up, I'm sure just the drag from the kayak pulling the fish pulling around a kayak, I'm sure that's going to help you land the thing. I don't know how you'd get it on a kayak if you're talking about a big fish, but we have big helium tanks. I don't know what size they are. I wouldn't know the different sizes, but I know you can go to like a party planning store and get a small bottle of helium.
That's all we do.
Yeah, that would probably fill up. They don't fill up a ton of balloons, but they probably fill out maybe a half dozen, I would assume, maybe a little more. So there's something, you could do that. And all we do is we just tie it to our line with a rubber band, probably 12, 15 feet above the fish, and you float it out there. And so when you don't have enough wind to fly a kite, you do that, and it's an awesome way to catch one. And when they're a little skittish or they're a little bit bigger and you want to get them on heavier line, it's an excellent way to catch fish.
You keep the hook in the back kind of shoulder of the bait, and the balloon is holding that hook and line basically up in the air, and the bait is just touching the surface, just below the surface. So what that fish sees from down below is just the bait. There's no line in the water. There's no hook in the water. It's just a really good, like you say, a really good, clean presentation. Allows you to fish a bigger hook and heavier line and still get the bite.
Yeah, and for a fish, they almost can't help themselves. And when you see it go out, you understand why, because it just looks tasty.
God, that's
it looks like it's going to happen. And you see you can tell when the sardines or when fish are around it. There's like a sardine or whatever you're using gets skittish and starts to freak out, and you can see it get all jittery on the surface, and then then you see the swirls and the boils, and I know you can do it. I don't have any experience on a kayak fishing to know like how you would actually do it, but I'm sure it's possible.
And Richard, I'd say give it a shot, man. I mean, what's it going to hurt? Even sometimes being the guy that tries something different. Look at the popper thing for bluefin. Maybe you fishing coastal for yellowtail. That'll be the next thing. There's always means of trying, and I think it's a good call, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks a lot for the phone call. How about we jump right back into it? This time we're going to talk to Alfred, calling us from Chula Vista. Alfred, good morning. Thank you for hanging in there with us.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call. I have a good friend who's a disabled veteran. His issues is that he has sleep apnea, and he isn't a walker, but he can move around. But his dream is to go on a boat like yours, but he's kind of been limited to half-day and three-quarter-day boats out here because he's had some bad experiences with not being able to hook up with the CPAP device, and then some of the deckhands, they just don't tend to his needs. And he's a pretty good tipper. But like I said, especially this CPAP thing. Are you guys hooked up for that? And can you give a person a little bit aid? Because a 200-pound fish is his dream, but he's not going to be able to pull that fish in all, by himself. He's going to need help.
Well, it doesn't matter who it is. Almost everybody needs help. It's, these are hard fish to catch. So it wouldn't just be him that's needing crew assistance. Everybody does. As far as hooking up a CPAP machine, yeah, we can. We have outlets next to almost every one of our bunks. We have 5 staterooms that all have outlets. So you can either, when you call for a reservation, you can just ask the landing, hey, I got this machine I need to plug in. Where can I be? They usually know where the outlets are or next to which bunks. Yeah, which bunks. And then, I like to think we provide everybody with extra help. Doesn't matter who it is. We have kids on the boat all the time. Crew loves the kids. If there's someone else that needs extra help, crew loves to help our passengers out. And the one thing I would say is, if you need a little extra help or you feel like maybe the crew doesn't notice that you need a lot, just holler out and they'll be on you. They'll make sure that you're going to have a good trip. These guys, like we mentioned earlier, they love to fish, they love to catch fish, and they love to see people stoked on catching fish, and they're going to make sure that, everybody has an opportunity to get the chance.
We've talked about it a bunch this morning, Alfred, but I'll tell you, it's not just smoke. It's the truth. The boys that work on that boat are really, really good, and I think if there was somebody around to give your buddy a little bit of extra hand of help and have a shot at a big one, I don't think there'd be a better spot for you than jumping on the boat with Drew and the boys there. Well,
yeah, he needs compassion, not putting down, because he had one crew get on his case because he had to sit down, and he needed someone just to hold on the line, give him a break for just a minute,
Yeah, you're not going to find that on our boat, and I'm sure if you had to give it up for a little while, I'm sure whoever's pulling out that thing would be pretty stoked that they got to pull on it for a little bit, so you wouldn't have to worry about that on our boat.
Alfred, appreciate the call very much. Thanks a lot. Jump back into it. We're going to talk to Dan from Encinitas. Hi, Dan. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I was scrolling through the Let's Talk Hookup website a couple weeks ago, and I caught this, I think it was on Australia or New Zealand, where they flew a drone from the surf outside the breakers and dropped bait right in front of some tuna. And I was wondering if, like Drew was saying, with no wind, would that be applicable on a party boat, or is it just too many people and too time-consuming, too high maintenance?
Well, I actually have a drone, and I bought it last year because I wanted to get some cool footage of, some of the trips that we had, and it was obviously a lot harder than I expected. It's not hard to fly it, but when you're in that moment of getting them, it's pretty difficult to get it up. But Austin, one of our crew members, texted me before their last trips asking about my drone and where I got it, and because he wants to do that. So the guys are definitely, they're thinking about it. It's not something that is out of the realm of us trying, and I know that there's at least one person that I've heard of in the fleet that's trying it. So.
Wait and see.
You might find it on the boat. We'll see. The one thing about the last couple of years for sure is nothing's off limits.
That's for sure.
And you kind of take a lot of this. You have all this history and experience of what you've seen and done in the years past, and it's not that you throw it out. You still have that there to figure it out. But we've tried all sorts of new things the last couple of years. And seen things that are pretty special, just things we never would have thought we would have seen. But, if it's available, we'll probably try it.
There you go, Dan. Appreciate the phone call very much. All right, thanks a lot for that. All right, how about next up we talk to Sam. Sam's calling us from Irvine this morning. Sam, good morning. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, Rick and Drew. Hey, a question. One is about the biggest size reel I would take. Would that be like a 30 for the big tunas? And I did go out trying the popper fishing on a 3/4 day boat, and it was like packed. And I had never tried it, obviously, and everybody was into it totally. And up on the bow was like a sword fight or something. But is the bow the best place to cast, or is there another spot on the boat that might be a better spot if it was like crowded like it is when you roll up on the boil, or any tips on that?
Well, typically we tell everybody that's throwing any sort of casting lure to do it up on the bow, forward of the house. But you're right. A lot of this, the way you fish these things is you see them on the surface, you roll up there, so the guys on the bow are going to probably have the best shot to throw right into where, the spot of fish that we're getting on. But, because everybody's doing it, and it is pretty crazy up there, and you got to be really careful, and we tell everybody, hey, make sure you holler out when you're casting, make sure you look look at your popper the whole time, make sure you're paying attention. It might be not a terrible thing for, on our boat we got so much deck space you can pretty much cast a popper.
Oh, no question.
Between the house and the rail, there's enough space, maybe not for just whoever to do it, but for someone that can cast an iron or a popper well, you could do it from there, and you could do it from back by the tackle rack as well. So as long as you're paying attention, typically, like I said, we don't like guys doing it on the stern, but if you're paying attention, you're safe, kind of what's going on, I don't see a problem with that.
One thing that I remember you were saying earlier in the season, and obviously it's starting to be more and more true now, was there would be times when everybody would be on the bow casting a popper, and obviously there was a lot of ice that were caught on the popper, but also with that, you said that you hooked a lot of fish when everybody's up on the bow throwing a popper, and 2 or 3 guys would just drop a flat fall, and the whole school would swim underneath the boat, and one of those guys would pick one of those off.
Yeah, and like I said, like we've been talking about, things are changing. So, maybe a popper isn't the absolute best way to do it right now. Things maybe now just a bait off the stern. After we stop, you have everybody up on the bow casting whatever they're trying to cast. If you just sneak back there all by yourself, throw a sardine back there, maybe you'd be the one to get a bite. But it's just kind of the nature of the beast. When that fish was all sort of on poppers, or when that was like our best opportunity to get one, then it's the way it is.
The
bow's gonna be the place to be, and it's gonna be what it is.
Yeah, you got it.
The jungle.
Sam, appreciate the phone call very much.
Thanks.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. All right, next up, let's talk to Doug, calling us from Montebello this morning. Doug, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Hi, for Drew. in case you guys go to the island and you see another boat sinking next to you, which would be the fastest way to pull up the anchor? Have all the passengers pull on it or use the winch?
Well, use the winch for sure. I mean, if I don't really understand. Are you saying if there another boat was sinking, how would be the best way to get over to them?
I think so. Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I mean, you would just play that by ear. I mean, if it's dire and you need to get there, right, maybe cut your anchor off.
Yeah.
I don't know, but obviously our pulling it with the boat power is going to be a lot, especially our anchor, which is 110 pounds. You fish, pulling that thing from way down there, it's gonna take a lot of passengers to do that.
Yeah. Appreciate the phone call very much. How about next up we talk to Jim, who's calling us from Palm Desert this morning. Hey, Jim, welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Captain Drew. Tight lines to you both.
Thanks, Jim.
Good. Question, Captain Drew. Noticed in the counts outside of the bluefin that people are catching, you're catching a lot of yellowtail, and I was wondering how and where you're catching those on your trips.
Well, most of it has been kelp patty fish, at least recently, within the last few weeks. We have gone to San Clemente Island a couple times. We just got in from a 3-day this morning. The guy spent part of a day there on that trip, and there was a trip, our last multi-day trip, we spent part of a day there as well. But if you're talking about early in the year counts, most of that was coastal fish, anywhere from just below the Coronado Islands on down to, say, Colonette, but more recently it's offshore kelp patty fish.
And you said it's been nice grade, too, or mixed grade, but the ones you're keeping are all legit nice ones.
It's about the fish that we were seeing on the coast, and probably a lot of it is.
Yeah.
And so it's, getting offshore on kelp patties and stuff, and we're starting to see that grade of fish offshore. And they're small fish, like I said, as well, but obviously what we're catching is better.
We'll take it. Appreciate the phone call, Jim. John in San Diego, you're up next on Let's Talk Hookup. Hi, John.
Good morning, guys. Wanted to ask you about the tuna's behavior. Oftentimes you see them foaming, which is eating behavior. But when you're seeing them swimming at the surface and they're being difficult to take a lure, what's their behavior at that point? Are they just not into eating?
Bluefin can be very good at frustrating you no matter what.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of feed around right now, so it's a lot of it has to do with that. A lot of the best fishing in the last week has been early in the morning, in the dark, and late in the afternoon. And, our thoughts are probably that fish is coming up and starting to feed, and so you're kind of getting on it before it gets on its feed. So you have a shot at it then, and then maybe it kind of goes down for the day, because a lot of, at least in the last week, like I said, everything's constantly changing all the time. So the last couple of days, it's been a little slower during the day, so it's been a early morning, late afternoon thing, and maybe that corresponds with how they're feeding.
One of the things that makes catching this bluefin so cool, one of the extra gratifying things, is they're the toughest ones, man.
Yeah,
they are definitely the toughest, fish that you guys fish for on a regular basis, and so getting those is like an extra. It got them,
Yeah.
And they're tough, and I'll tell you, when those things are up and breezing around, and they can be the experts of just showing you exactly where they are, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do to make that happen.
Yeah, and we've gotten a lot of that the last couple of years. I mean, even last year, beginning of the year, there was a trip, I remember, you'd look up, and you'd see 10 giant 100-yard schools, breezers up, wherever you looked. And we almost got to a point in the afternoon where it's just like, we're going to drive through it. We're just going to troll through this one.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't get them to move. You couldn't, and we've seen it too, where you get close, you try and get close to them, and they won't even get near the boat. So they're definitely a pain in the butt, and but that's what makes it so much more amazing when you get them. It's insane.
We had a couple that just blew us away this year when we would drive them, and we're in a skiff with a 4-stroke and as quiet as could be, and you can get right on some of those breeds, and these were 200-pounders, these giant fish. They were just milling around doing their thing, and you'd cast a popper, an 8-inch piece of plastic, would hit the water, and you'd see the whole school just, the whole thing just vanish. Like, how could...
And we've had days where we just said, we're just going to stop. There's fish wherever we look, we see a school. We're just going to stop and drift through it. And I don't think that we've quite had the patience to score that way, but I know a couple guys have had that same idea and just stop the boat, put out the kite, and it you get worried, like maybe they think we're not trying anymore, but they've been successful that way. It's just a matter of can you stand it? Can your nerves take the patience? It's like when you see them up, it's really hard to
just go get them.
Yeah, you got to have some, you definitely need patience.
You spend so much time and effort looking for them, so to see them up is pretty hard not to just be able to go react.
Yeah.
I'm sure. John, does that answer your question for you?
Yes, thank you much.
Appreciate the phone call very much. Next up, let's talk to Ron. He's calling us from San Diego this morning. Ron, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Rick, Drew. I've been fishing the Queen since with Ed on the boat, so it's a long time.
Nice.
Anyway, my two question is, when you're fishing bait for the big bluefish, what size hooks do you use? And also, are you catching them in U.S. waters where you don't need a passport?
Well, you don't need a passport in Mexico unless you're within 12 miles of the coast. So we're catching both in U.S. waters and in Mexico. It seems like they've been kind of just swimming up towards U.S. waters, and they swim down. There's obviously a couple different areas to fish, but I think I lost.
Yeah, passport.
Oh, yeah. So you don't necessarily need a passport. There was a little bit of time where the fish was within like 10 miles of the coast, so we were fishing with passports and requiring passports. But the best way, if you're like looking to go on one of our trips, all of our information is posted right there on our schedule, so you can check that out. But most everybody in the fleet, they'll post whether or not you're going to need a passport for a certain trip.
I'll throw this out, Ron. Odds are you don't need it right now, but you just don't. If you don't have it, the passport thing isn't going away. There was such good fishing on the coast this year that did require a passport. I urge you so much, if you don't have it, to just go make your appointment tomorrow. Just get it.
And I would say there's a good chance next year all our trips are going to require passports. And that's not because the regulations are going to change, but just because it's that important. And we've kind of
option.
Yeah, we've kind of pushed the passport sort of slow, but it's something that if you want to have every possible option when you go fishing, a passport, you need it. And like Rick said, it's super easy. I mean, looks like you're in San Diego, so it's super. I just went right down to the passport office down there, right downtown. It took me 3 days. I went there the 23rd of December, so 2 days before Christmas. The place was packed. I got my passport out in 3 days.
That's awesome. There you go. And that's just one of those things that the passport not going away, and without it, you like. See what happens if you're on the boat and you've got 25 guys and 24 of them have a passport, but one doesn't?
Yeah,
you find out that fish is biting on the beach. That's it.
Yeah,
you're
not happening.
Ron, appreciate the phone call very much. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out what lucky guy is going fishing aboard the Pacific Queen. We got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the mighty 1090.
Get it all at Dana Landing in Mission Bay. It's truly the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Looking for a fishing charter? Dana Landing had you covered with several boats, including the new Blackjack, perfect for 2 to 4 anglers, and the Impulse that will carry up to 6 anglers in comfort and style. Dana Landing has a huge tackle shop with everything you need to go fish bay bass, tuna, or marlin, plus expert anglers on staff to help. They even have Mexican and California fishing licenses and reel repair. The deli at Dana Landing is a local's favorite with all the food, ice, and beverages you need. When it comes to freshwater tackle, East County Bait and Tackle is the spot for a great day on the lake. The ultimate in rods and reels, the latest freshwater lures, and live bait. ECBT has a staff second to none when it comes to sharing their passion for fishing. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview in Lakeside, and Dana Landing is right across from SeaWorld next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check DanaLanding.com for more details.
If the fish are biting, I'm on my boat, rain or shine. Of course, I wear my life jacket. It's like wearing a seatbelt. Clip it on, grab my tackle box, and hit the water.
Love California, Boat California, Save California. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
For over 5 decades, Lee Palm Sport Fishing has set the standard in long-range fishing that they pioneered long ago. The Red Rooster 3 sets a new standard of excellence. The Red Rooster 3 is one of the most modern, quiet, and fastest long-range vessels in the fleet. They have handpicked the finest crew to make your trip a memorable one. The Red Rooster 3 offers trips from 3 to 18 days and runs year-round to the best fishing spots on the planet. Ride the Red Red Rooster 3 once and you'll be back again. Call the Red Rooster 3 at 619-224-3857 or see them on the web at redrooster3.com. If you've heard the advice Scott Sherman from Fifth Avenue Insurance has given anglers over the past couple of years, you know there is much more to your boat insurance than just a low rate. Well, Fifth Avenue Insurance can not only find you the lowest rates on your boat insurance, they also make sure the coverage you get meets all your needs. What if you had an accident with the boat and found out you didn't have proper coverage? Well, that just won't happen when you insure with Fifth Avenue Insurance. Call them for advice on your current boat policy or any of your insurance needs. Fifth Avenue Insurance, 619-640-3130 or check the number 5 THAVEINS.com.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
You're listening to the home of the 2016 All-Star Game. San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090. All right, the winner of a day-and-a-half trip going fishing aboard the Pacific Queen is going to John in Long Beach. John, congratulations. You are going to be so stoked going fishing with Drew and the boys. And, Drew, we can't thank you enough for hanging out with us for a couple hours. I know it's a very busy time of year. Boats running, and you guys are super busy. But, man, just so much cool stuff going on. We're stoked to have you in here.
Yeah, thanks for having it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know lots of good fishing going on. You already mentioned it today. The boat's going tonight, but give us the rundown. If somebody wants to come fishing, get in on all this craziness that's going on, have a shot at literally a fish of a lifetime, how do we do it? What's the deal? How do we come fishing with you? How do we get information, charter the boat, all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways. You can go onto our website directly, which is pacific-queen.com. You can call Fisherman's Landing directly at 619-221-8500, or you can get on our website too from Facebook. We're on Instagram, Pacific Queen Sport Fishing. We post all our photos from each trip, on those two platforms. So it's another way to check us out.
Yeah, awesome. Well, if somebody wants to jump on the boat tonight, light load, going fishing, it's a really good shot to go catch your big one right now. If you're like I am and you sat here and you just couldn't sit still in your seat because you know that there's 100-pounders literally biting right now.
And they're biting today.
Yeah, I could jump on the boat and be doing that tomorrow with you. Awesome. Well, Drew, appreciate that. We really appreciate all the updates from the boat. You do a great job, and I know myself and I know all the listeners say the same thing. We really like hearing what's going on the water, and we appreciate you coming hanging out with us for sure. Cool. And we appreciate you listening today, too. Another great show coming for you next weekend. Next Saturday, it's going to be Pete and Mike from Cussler Yachts. We'll be talking all about great stuff going on there. And then next Sunday, Captain Pete Grossbeck and Berkeley Andrews from Seakeeper Stabilizer is going to be a couple of really interesting shows, talking some big boat, talking some local fishing. Going to be a great time. Want to give a big thanks to Adam and Ryan on the other side of the glass for helping us out this morning. You stay tuned. Another great show coming for you up next. It's Craig and John from the All-Star Fan Fest next up here from 9 to noon. Going to be a lot of fun, and we'll look forward to talking more fishing with you next Saturday and Sunday with Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.